We were made the same. We have everything that we need in us to produce a harvest. I knew this was going to be good. We only need to be planted in the right soil to activate the power of the seeds that are lying dormant within us. Mm, mm, mm. No one has to tell a seed to grow. It only needs soil, water, sunlight, and love to become a mighty plant. Work the seeds that you that have been given to you and watch your harvest grow. Now may he who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food supply and multiply the seed you have sown and increase the fruits of your righteousness. That is from Second Corinthians chapter 9 verse 10 in the New King James Version of the Bible. Man, plant good seeds, water them, give them love, show them sunlight like the light bringers like to do, and watch the harvest grow. And it's crazy the things that are within us. You hear a song sometimes, it might bring you to tears. I'm speaking for myself, all right? It brings songs bring me to tears, different melodies that go off and symphonic type music. It just makes me feel a certain type of way. That's because there was been a seed planted within you that is just waiting for the right conditions to let you grow and blossom into the king or queen that you were put here to be. So make sure that you get around good people who have good water, good people who are sharing good light so that you can grow and be the dominant being that you were put here to be, man. Shout out to my man Marcus Tate, the LBC OG. Now, let me go through my quick topics and then we will get uh, my homeboy John Piper in the building. But this week has been hot and humid. How has it been for you? Let me know down in the comments. It's been hot and humid, and we have this saying, me and Captain Jack, we say, we seen this video, this little boy. I might have mentioned it on here before, but he's in the back seat with his mom. This is how hot and humid it has been. He says, "Mama, I'm sweating," and she goes, "Sweating where?" And he goes, my butt crack and my balls and everywhere. And that's how hot it's been. I swear to you, we've been doing nothing but drinking water, eating different fruits. My wife got me these cherries that were absolutely insane today that I had. I don't know, cherries, watermelon, oranges, bananas, sliced apples with caramel and peanut butter dip, all types of great, amazing things that my wife has been putting in here, as well as these fabulous hint waters. Shout out to whoever makes these hint waters; they're delicious. But that's what we've been doing, trying to battle the heat. It's been in the 90s throughout the last 3 weeks for almost every day, if not every day. It's been 92, 93, 97, 98. It was 109 degrees when I got in my truck to go home after work today. So it's been hot and humid, but we have still been getting enough rain to continuously let the grass continue to grow. Last year, we were in a drought for like by now almost a month of absolutely no rain or sprinkles at best. And last year we went through about a 3 month drought. So this has been very, very welcoming to see that even today it was 93 degrees. We got done around 3:30, but around 6, it rained. And now throughout the rest of the night it's going to rain some, and then we got some rain in the forecast tomorrow and some slightly lower temperatures. We're not going to be in the 90s tomorrow. We're going to be in the low to mid 80s tomorrow. So that's good. But like I said, the grass has continued to grow. Everything is still green. The shrubs are really growing crazy. So we're doing that stuff right now. And then I have like a few more mulch jobs that we have to do to end out our mulching season. But that's been cool. We're getting plenty of rain, enough rain, I would say, to keep everything growing. But last but certainly not least, it's been nothing but swimming pool parties. That's another cool thing. Now that the pool's open at my house, we are able. I could get in the pool afterward. I ain't even been getting a shower right afterwards. I just come straight home, take off the work clothes, wipe the grass off myself, put on the swim trunks, and go straight down and jump in the pool. And it's been cool. And there's been nothing but pool parties at my house the last 3 weeks. We've had my daughter's sixth birthday party, then my niece's 13th birthday party. Then I got a niece and nephew who are turning 12 and 7. They're having a party together at the house. And then we're celebrating my brother's father-in-law's 60th birthday with all his grandkids and everything. So we got pool parties booked through all July and the beginning of August, and it's been a real blessing to be able to do that. So hard work pays off, and that's one of the things that the hard work that we've put in our business has worked to pay off, and it's creating some dope memories. So that's been what's going on with me. But this dude that I'm going to bring on next, I am excited. It looks like he might have got his channel linked up now, so that's dope. But it is my homeboy who I met at the first ever meetup that there was that he actually put on. It's kind of crazy that now we are basically like brothers from another, right? We share the compound together. We have this amazing brotherhood where he's helping me do things. I'm helping him do things. We're not even charging each other. We're just helping each other to get things done so that we can win in life. And like I said at the beginning of the show, it's always amazing to have amazing friends that not only help you out, but that you can help out as well as you guys. We all need to grow together and to be better. And this is why I enjoy doing this show. This is why I'm doing groups and things like that now, so that I can have more friends that are like this gentleman that I'm about to bring on. But my man Piper, he actually threw the first ever Pittsburgh meetup that I know of. And I got invited to it about 30 minutes before it happened. I go up there with these six guys. Um, Piper, my man John Doyle, my man Brad, Tommy the 20, he was the 19-year-old Savage at the time, but now he's like 21 or 22. We had Talon the rock star, and then Piper and myself. And that was the beginning of having friends in the industry that I could have to talk to who understood what I was going through, helping to get away from the loneliness of entrepreneurship because this can be very lonely out here when people don't understand what you're going through. So when I met Piper, long story short, uh, him and I just clicked immediately and we kept in close contact with one another. He actually don't live but 5 to 7 minutes away from me. So we're always hanging out. We moved in the compound together and he's just been a big light bringer in my life. So I'm excited to have my homeboy on. And without further ado, here he is, my man, the landscape giant, John
Yo!
Piper. Hey Pipes, before we get started, I gotta
Yeah.
give a disclaimer. This is live. All right.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I know.
no crazy stuff. All
Burn
right.
it down.
We gotta
Burn the
save the
boats.
crazy stuff for the Lightbringer University group that we're starting where Piper can be pipes. But we gotta be a little politically correct on a live show here. We don't want to get canceled. But
I
Pipes,
come.
go
I
ahead.
come over. I do one podcast. I say something bad about soccer players. You have to edit it out. You get all
Y'all
wound up.
making my job hard, bro. You can't just don't make the job
Practice.
hard. Stress-free podcasting, just like stress-free lawn
Practice.
care.
You got to learn to edit. I'm just helping you.
No doubt. But hey,
Yeah.
Pikes, before we get
Yeah.
started, people have seen you on a YouTube channel. They've heard you on the podcast before. This is your first time on the live show. So
Yeah.
for anyone who hasn't met the landscape giant owner of Seven Ways Lawn and Tree, give us a quick rundown of who you are and kind of what you do.
John Piper, Seven Ways Lawn and Tree, Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Grew up living in Vermont. Moved down here, went to school, met a girl, bought a house, started my business here. Been in business full time since 2018 when I left healthcare and being a first responder, and it just like took off, and now we're here, and I'm like trying to figure out how to run a business, and it's just wild. Never in a million days.
Never in a million days. Well, what inspired you to start a lawn care business?
I was making more money in my side hustle at the hospital than I was at the hospital.
Hmm.
And people at the hospital needed, landscaping and work that I had a small pickup truck at the time, at a Nissan Frontier. We all been there, and a chainsaw and a rake and a leaf blower. And before I knew it, it was like we're tearing bushes out, and I was renting equipment. And then I was like, I can just do this. And then I got a fight with my boss. Well, I didn't get in a fight. She said, some things to me that we ain't gonna discuss here. And then you know how my attitude is, and I just was like, okay, and I left, and now I'm definitely crushing her salary. So way to go, Jen. Yeah, I'm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Well,
we on one.
yeah, I already knew this was going to be fun. If you guys got to hear the compound talks that him and I be having, it's wild. So I already know this was going to be an entertaining show. But what for? I want to get to.
Hmm.
We talk about lawn care a lot. We're going to talk about some lawn care here too, and eventually I want to get to how you started doing trees and all of that stuff. But what was at the beginning when you first started out? What was something that was a challenge for you?
Getting clients, getting getting clients that I wanted,
Mm,
because people will ask you to do things, and you're like, oh yeah, $100. That sounds reasonable, because that's what you are willing to pay for that job, not what that job actually cost.
mm,
And so that was the hurdle, like figuring that out, and then figuring out, okay, like this neighborhood that's being freshly built, all these new homes are going in, they all need landscaping. They don't do that when they construct these new divisions. We got subdivisions around us going up left and right, and that was like my foot in all these townhouses, and then it just was like boom, boom, boom. 20 lawn customers, 30 lawn customers, 40. At one point in time, I had 56. That was too much. That was suicidal. It was way too much. I just couldn't even. My relationship was suffering. Like my home life, my physically, I couldn't. I just my gas tank was so empty, and that was before I went to Equip. That was before I met you. All that. So I kind of got. I wish we had met in 2019, but that didn't happen. you know, because that would have saved me a lot of headache. Learning
how
that there's
so?
a. Well, that first conversation we had at Permani Brothers, that was what you were like. I do 100, and I was like, how? How? I'm over here doing 56, and I feel like I have two concrete shoes in the Allegheny,
Mm,
and I'm just sinking to the mucky bottom with all the tires and shopping carts.
yeah, that's why again. We talked about having friends. We live in our own bubbles, pipes. Like we live in this bubble that is our world, and if you're in there alone, you don't you kind of don't know how great the rest of the world really is and what other people in the world are really doing. And whenever we met each other, it became something. It was like, and it wasn't just with you, Pipes. It was also with my man,
Brad,
our boy Doyle, our homie Brad. And then the second one, when we had like 25 people, I kind of got up and was like, "Why are y'all charging 35? We all should be charging at least 50." And that changed a whole lot of things with people here where we're at, Pipes. But again, if you're living in your own bubble and you don't have those friends to be able to talk to, man, you're like it's really slowing your progress to be whatever it is you want to be. Now, don't
yeah,
mean that you have to, because for me personally, and I know Piper feels the same way. I'm not necessary. Would I like to have $1 million business? I think so, sure. But I understand the stress and everything that's going to come with having, 10 employees or however many employees it would take to have $1 million lawn care business. I kind of want to stay kind of where I'm at, maybe a little bit bigger than this, right? But when you have conversations with people who maybe have $1 million business because you've become a friend with them, it opens your eyes to what the possibilities could be if you want them to be that. You know what I'm saying, Pipes? So Pipes was doing it one way, and then he get around me. He's like, oh, I could push it to the limit even further. But then I'm doing things one way, and then I see what you're doing where you got like lawn care customers, but then you even downsized that because you were like, I want to pour more into the tree service side of things because you're doing $10,000 jobs, $5,000 jobs, $2,000 jobs. So, give me a little bit of the transition from because we can go back to lawn care and talk
Yeah.
about that, but that's kind of what we all do. I want to encourage you, the viewer, the listener, that pick a second thing that maybe has bigger ticket value to it, more expertise, makes you a little less expendable when it comes to being able to be hired and fired, like Pipes has done with the tree service. So, how did you kind of go about s-
I started
going
as a
into the
tree. I
trees?
started as a tree service.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't start cutting grass. I started doing trees, and I bought a chainsaw off Craigslist for $150. It was my first one because before that, like my whole family, we process firewood, do logging operations, timber harvesting, all that kind of stuff in Vermont. And then when I transitioned down here, I didn't own my own chainsaw. I left kind of everything up in New England, and I was like, I'm gonna buy myself a good saw. I got a Husqvarna 455 Rancher, ported it out, ripped it, and was doing small tree jobs, just like storm cleanup. Like, hey, a branch fell down. I had the Nissan Frontier. That thing is loaded to the gills. I was taking everything home and burning it because I didn't know rudders existed. And then this dude rolls up to me with like this guy pulls up next to me at a red light, and he's in an F 750. So let's just like he's in a $250,000 chip truck. He's pulling like $100,000 chipper, and he goes, "Hey, you going up to rudders?" He's like, and I was like, "What the hell's that?" He's like, "Oh, he's like, you're barely gonna make it before they clip." I just followed the dude. I didn't know where it was going. I just followed the dude. And just followed him up the hill. I'm like, I feel like I'm going into Mordor, going up that hill for the first time, and like, oh my god, like, I get on the scale. I don't know. They're like, go around out back, out back, out back. The whole place is out back.
No doubt, it sure
Yeah,
is.
and
It's
like it's
huge up
chaos.
there.
There's 2-story tall payloaders rolling around, and like I talked to him because he was dumping chips, and I was like, oh, I just do this on the side, and then like we talked. I got like 2 clients off this dude. I don't even remember his name. I don't even think he's in business anymore. Like he was from Ohio, I believe, like a line clearance company. And like I did a couple things, and then like I was at the hospital, and word got out that I was doing some stuff. I posted a few Snapchats, and it just took off. And then people asked me, "Hey, I'm going out of town. Can you cut my grass this weekend?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I own a push mower. Like I can cut your grass." And then I was like, "Oh my god, how much money can you make cutting grass?" And then the tree clients led to lawn clients.
Nice. So the opposite
And
way.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I didn't know people cut grass for a living. I had no idea that people were
Man.
making this much money cutting grass. No idea. And then the tree stuff, just like you've seen, and now that you've been around for 5 years,
I don't know. It just I'm
yeah.
old now, Pipes. It all melts together.
But like I think you've seen 3 trucks that I've been through.
Oh
A
yeah, the
couple,
one that
a
got
couple.
T-boned.
R.I.P. Too soon. Uh, old silver bullet. Yeah, you've seen different setups. You've seen different trailers. You saw the Bobcat. You
Yep.
and then the first time you saw me do work was when I was in your backyard.
True. That is right. So we had this giant pine tree.
Huge.
We had this giant pine tree, and I live on a cul-de-sac at the end of the cul-de-sac. So my yard touches the back of the people that live on the street behind me. There was this 100. How tall was that pine tree, Pipes?
120, 115 for sure.
So this gigantic 120, 120 foot tall pine tree, and it's leaning towards my house. And I know that pine trees are like tall weeds, like their root systems don't drive deep into the ground. Which Pipes, I don't know. I heard that no, like none of the tree systems are really deep into the ground.
Not around here because we have clay. It's
Yeah.
hard for that.
So
It's hard for the roots to penetrate.
anyway, I knew that this tree was a problem and it was leaning towards my house. So there was an old man that lived behind me, and one day he was back in his backyard cutting his grass, and I just called him over. Hey, excuse me, sir. This tree's leaning towards my house. He was a complete jerk. he was a real jerk, man, and he was like, "No, I'm not cut." I said, "I'll pay. I got kids back here. I don't want them out here playing, and then we have a windstorm or something, and destroys my half my family room or the kids' play structure I got. None of that stuff." The guy was a complete jerk, so we didn't talk to him. And then one day, my wife and I went on our vacation for our anniversary to Jamaica, and we're on our last day before we come home, and there's a storm back here in Pittsburgh. My mother-in-law's here at the house. She got my nieces and my nephews here pipe. She calls us. She's like, "There's this crazy storm or whatever, and this tree fell. It broke in half and fell, and it landed right in between my shed and my family room." And so, a long story short, which I kind of made it long already, pipes, but the old man passed away. His
RP.
son was yeah, R.I.P. Anyway, his son was really, really cool. And Pipes came, he took care of the tree that fell in my yard because we had to take care of that. And then he also got like 2 or 3 jobs from the
Hmm.
guy's son who got some trees taken down. So
And
friendships.
it's crazy. The guy's son worked at a nursery and delivered trees.
Look at that.
Dude, what a small world. What are
It
the
was
odds?
it was meant to be.
Yeah, meant to be. That job was wild. Yeah, that was the first time. And like, I think too, when something happens at your house and it's your property, you got to like be like, oh man, this is a lot of work. And I don't even. Did you even own a chain? You had a small chainsaw at that time. I don't think you had like a big saw.
Yeah, the only chainsaw I had, I got a story about this too. Me and Captain Jack was cutting the yard one day, pipes, and this guy just rolled up to the truck out of a car, and I see him. And, what is he doing by my truck? I stopped my mower. Like, what's going on, homie? He's like, "Hey, I got these ego equipment. Do you want to buy it?" I'm like, "All right, cool. Let me see it." It was an ego chainsaw and an ego like handheld blower
Yeah.
and string trimmer. I was like, "I don't need the string trimmer, but I'll take the chainsaw and the thing." I said, "How much you want for it?" He was like, "I want $300 for it." I said, "I'll give you $100 for it." He gave them both to me for $100. That's how it was in the '90s, back in my day. So,
It's
uh,
still like that. You just got to be in the right
yeah.
neighborhood.
Anyway, that was the only chainsaw that I had. I knew I couldn't do the job. Pipers came, took care of it, and it ended up getting 2, 3 jobs out of that. But tree work's dangerous,
Yeah,
pipes.
super
Um,
dangerous.
what is? Give me a crazy story of something that's
T-
happened.
Today I got whacked in the face with a branch that rebounded, hit me right across here.
Sheesh.
Dude, I was bleeding, and I'm working today. The tree that I was in, there was a tree service, a much bigger tree service right next door. Like, and this is Pittsburgh Monroeville. Like, these properties are all house, no yard. I mean, you can attest to that. That's you can cut your lawn in 5 minutes, and that's how all these houses are.
Yeah,
And
especially
this
with a
tree,
60-inch mower.
oh yeah, and all these guys are watching, and this tree that I'm in is super dead, and that's the risk. It's because nobody wants to take down. Very rarely do people want to take down healthy trees. I would say more than 60 to 75% of the business is taking down dead, dying, or diseased trees,
Mm.
and wood that's rotted, punky, has giant woodpecker holes in the size of your boot, um, branches that just break off from the vibration from the chainsaw, like, and the gear is so like just the helmet alone is like $400. I'm wearing a pair of Kevlar lined pants, chap built-in climbing pants. Those are like $500 for those.
For
Got on a
pants?
pair for a pair of pants, dude.
Wow.
And because my size, like I get them through Clogger. Shout out to Clogger, New Zealand. They're pretty sick. But they can like make things a little bit special for you. But yeah, you're looking at like a couple $100. They have to ship them from New Zealand. That ain't happening overnight.
Nope.
Let me tell you, Brown can't do it for you. Yeah,
Or DHL
yeah. Or
or Amazon, huh?
they come DHL, man. They do. They come DHL with like all these stickers on them from all these countries they have to go through. It's wild. It's crazy. You're like, are these knockoffs? You know, like when you buy one of those jerseys off one of those sketchy websites, and
You
you're
know,
like, the
I
Mavericks didn't get a cut of this one, if you know what I'm saying. You
I
know, like,
never bought. The only sketchy thing I bought off the internet was these hair edgers. They were gold. I got them
okay,
things. They were pulling the hair out of my face. It was terrible. But
yeah,
that's it.
Timu,
Well, yeah, you're right. I did
yeah,
get the well, that SA company used to be kind of like I didn't know what it was. It was just an
yeah,
ad on Instagram, and I ended up getting those things. But I do not advocate for the face gaiters anymore. Those things cause me more sinus infections than I care to even talk about. But that's
yep.
besides the
I,
point.
I
But
just wear them during leaf season, and like I'll have one on when I'm up there, and I know the saw is gonna be blowing chips at my face. I might pull
yeah,
one up, but like, yeah, to wear one all day,
all it does is really traps the
bacteria and
dust and
everything.
everything right where your nose is, where you're breathing, because you're breathing in. Um, ins- Instead of being able to, I just been blowing snot rockets
Yeah,
all day. You know what I mean?
but
Um,
to get back, tree work. Like I started out just like anyone else could with a chainsaw. YouTube University. I taught myself how to climb. I have like no formal training. I've got rope rescue training from the firehouse, but that's totally different scenario than climbing up with spikes. And like I had to learn what type of saws to buy, what type of rope do I want, what type of harness am I going to get. I did all that, and it's up to you to do the all of that research because everyone's different. That's the other thing about tree work versus lawn care. You can put almost anybody on a mower and get them to cut grass. Tree gear is so user specific for the most part. Like my harness isn't going to fit you. Like my spikes are set up for my shins, not for yours. Like my shin pad is going to be at your knee.
no doubt, he's 7 feet tall. By the way, we probably
Yeah,
should have led with that. If you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know who he is, that's why he's called the Giant, because he's literally a giant. So no, anything
yeah.
that you wear is not gonna fit me.
And the material, you need something to move it. Like landscaping, you can go to Tractor Supply and get a really good $1,000 trailer, and you'll make that tenfold in a month. Where when you get into tree work, really you should be investing in like a 1 ton truck, a dump trailer, to really get you going, a mini skid, and like I just kind of got my little glow up. I just bought a used F-250 with a dump insert, and I just bought a chipper that's being refurbished by Vermeer, um, and they're down
I didn't know
South
you had
Carolina.
already got them. I thought you were talking about getting them.
Oh
You
no
already
no
have
no
them.
no no no! I pulled the trigger. You know me. Shooter's gonna shoot.
Shooter's gonna shoot.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so the truck, I found the truck on Facebook Marketplace. Some girl's moving to Costa Rica to rescue turtles, and no joke. And she's selling her truck, and I was like, she wanted like 29,000. I was like, I'll give you 25. And she was like, all right. We shook hands. We had a beer together. It was pretty awesome. And then I drove away. And
Nice.
yeah, and so now I just did the bank paperwork. We're working on the title transfer, all that stuff, and the chipper. When you have, and that's the other thing. So Vermeer and me, I had a terrible relationship with Bobcat. It didn't. My sales rep retired like right after he sold me it. They brought this new kid on who had to like take on all these clients, and the communication was terrible, just like it was with Ditch Witch of Pittsburgh. Horrible. Vermeer smashed it out of the gate. I mean, you saw like when they came for the demo, not only did they bring a machine, they brought the machine and the district like head guy, Eric, and who's been promoted since then. And like my guy has been promoted since then. So like, and they found me a chipper in South Carolina because they know I'm looking. So my sales rep spent probably several hours calling around doing that work that I didn't have to do. Oh, oh, we're back. We're back. And he found me a chipper in South Carolina. It was just got traded in. They're refurbing it. They put probably a couple grand into it. New belts, flywheel, new knives, whole deal, and a full motor workover. And I'll have it hopefully in a couple weeks.
That's fire. I was just about to ask, and that's kind. You went over all of that stuff, but I was just gonna ask. In tree, we all know the I mow grass. obviously we need a truck, we need a trailer, but the
Hmm.
one thing we absolutely need to mow grass is a mower. But in the tree work side of things, what's the must-have tool that you need outside of the chainsaw?
Okay, I was like, you shitting me? Like,
No, no.
so
Obviously, you need chainsaws and things like that, but
you're gonna grow
you
some
know,
beaver teeth and hawk that thing down. I'd like to see
for
that.
for I mean,
Anyone can
anyone
cut.
can grab a chainsaw and cut a tree down, not professionally. I've seen
Right.
some videos out there where people aren't doing it professionally, but what is the main tool you need outside of the thing, and how
If
much does it cost?
if you want, in my opinion, with only, you know, 7 years of running my own tree service, I would say the number one piece of gear that have to have, you have to have, you have to have all of the ropes and all the rope knowledge to be successful. Because if you can put a rope in something, and even if you tie it off to your truck, and you know what rope to buy, the type of rope, static, dynamic, what type of sheath it has, what type of current mantle, its construction, weight rating, minimum brake strength, average braking strength, tensile load, knot factor, its milking, all that stuff. And you can look at a rope and be like, okay, like this is a kind of a small tree, and I only need so much force to bring it over 90 and begin it to fall in the direction I want. And if you can like figure that stuff out, you don't have to climb a lot. A lot of these, you if you have a client who's okay with their yard getting just destroyed when this like 8,000 pound tree hits the ground, and you're willing to do some of the work, I would say get a rope, get a really good rope, get something that's rated for like 6,000 pounds, get a half-inch line. There's a lot of really good ones out there. Get 150 or 200 feet of rope, and or buy, if you can get a really good deal, buy 300 and cut 100 feet off, and so you have one 200 and one 100 footer, and
Mm.
like you can use that just a little bit, and you don't need anything really special to create like advantages. You get something high up in the tree, you can get a little bit of mechanical advantage, and off you're going. And if you got a truck, if you got a heavy truck like a 1 ton truck, like an 8,000 pound pickup truck with good 4-wheel drive system, and you got like all of our pickups have big tow hooks on the front of them. That thing ain't going anywhere. If the tree only weighs 2,000, 3,000 pounds, and it's just a big, tall, skinny pine tree, and you can get yourself a little potato gun or something like that, or a slingshot, throw a rope up in there. You know how to tie a proper knot that's not going to weld itself into the rope, and it's going to be able to be untied, and it's going to be safe and not come undone, and the tree go backwards on you. You can do so much, and you're looking at a good rope. Rope on average, really good rope is over $1 a foot plus shipping, and shipping's by weight. So you might be in like 300-400 bucks on a couple of good ropes, and you're off to the races.
Well, all right. So you need ropes. The primary thing is getting the tree down. Now,
Hmm.
the things that you've helped me out a lot were is after storms we have trees just laying in yards, and I want to say you've done maybe 5 different tree jobs so
This
far
year.
this year. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you have
huge ones.
you have the Vermeer
Hmm.
CTX 160. You went to
Greatest mini
that
skid on the
from the
market.
Bobcat. So, can you give us a little bit of details on that particular machine and why you got it? And then number two is what are some things for people who may want to get into this, and they're looking at a Bobcat or some sort of skid steer that's going to help them out? What are some things they should be looking for?
Yeah, so if you're moving from, you got the rope, you got the saw, you got some basic skill, and now you're looking at getting equipment. Make sure you can tow it. And now the big controversy in the tree game is mini excavator or mini skid.
What's the
For
difference?
So mini excavator, like the smallest excavator they make with a cab. Uh, the difference is you have reach. So my machine, if you notice, I don't have a lot of reach, but I have an insane amount of power in a compact unit that fits. It's low to the ground. I can fit under decks. You can't fit under a deck in a mini excavator. I can fit down a lot of sidewalks. Some mini excavators can, like the Kubotas and some of the really small John Deeres, but a lot of the other ones, you're not doing that. I can go down. I can fit through a gate, like a little 48-inch gate, can squeeze right in. Little, I think I can fit through a 44 and like a half inch gate. But you're talking 60 to $70,000, and that's not without the trailer.
All
And
right.
it,
Before let me cut you off real quick.
yeah,
Before we go any further, Piper has bought the Bobcat and then bought the
hmm
Vermeer CTX. You do not necessarily need to buy this equipment when you first start out. So don't think that the barrier of entry is going to be 60 or $70,000 if you decide you want to do a tree service with your lawn care
hmm
business or just a tree service in general.
you,
There
you,
are cheaper ways that you can do this. So go ahead, Pipes. What you gonna say?
the the cheapest thing to get into is if you're going to start doing tree work, buy a dolly from Harbor Freight with the big pneumatic rubber tires. That's how I. That was my first skid steer. Was me and a rat. You put a big log on it because those dollies will hold like 400 or 500 pounds, and then put a ratchet strap around it so it won't fall off. Don't use a bungee; they can't hold that kind of weight. And just pull them out. And they make now. There's several companies that make tree service dollies, or a couple $100, and you can pull all your brush, stack them on, and you can just tow it. And I've seen some guys who have made some modifications where they put like cordless drill motors on them, give them a little extra push, and you can get into something for less than like $500.
Wow,
You can
that's
get into a dolly for Harbor Freight for like, what are they, $65?
yeah. I never even would have thought of that. Is to because I was thinking you started helping me out because number one, you're my boy. Number two, you got that
Like what?
that machine that can just pick up virtually anything.
hmm
And my biggest issue was not cutting it. Obviously, I don't have tree knowledge or anything. That ain't something that I'm looking up on YouTube or anything like that. But once the tree is on the ground, I had been just cutting them up on the
Yeah. Oh no, we froze.
all right, we good? All right.
Yeah, you're
So
back. You're back. You were
anyway,
cutting them up on the ground.
yeah, I was cutting them up on the ground, but then I didn't have any way to move this stuff. I never would have thought to get the tree dolly. But then once you get the tree dolly, it's like if you got to get that stuff into the back of a pickup truck, how you do that?
Yeah. Oh, that. So then you get it out there and you figure out that the Nissan Frontier was easier to load wood than the one tons because they sit so high. The little Frontier Tacoma, dude, that's like knee high. Like a 10-year-old can jump up in and out of those. Like you don't have to be a giant,
Yeah.
you
Well, you're
know.
7 feet tall. Everything ain't the same for you as it is for the rest of us. That he
You should have.
stands up, towering, grabbing things off the top of these pallet racks while we're in the damn compound. But yeah, no. So
Yeah, but like I feel like, and to answer a couple of these, like um, Litho's lawn care, his question, yeah, uh, tree work, I would say my average profit margin is 70%. So if I'm coming in charging $10,000, $12,000 for a job, I'm walking away with, after paying everybody fees and all that, $6,000, $7,000 because my overhead is insane. My insurance is astronomical, and the wear and tear on my equipment. We blew up a saw this year. We have a $1,300 saw, done, cooked, cannot be fixed, and that has to be replaced. And a good chainsaw, if you can get 10, 15 years of really like beating on it every single day, you're doing amazing. You're absolutely killing it. If you give that to a crew and you're not there, that saw's lasting 4 years.
mm,
Don't even bother modifying it. And I modify everything because I think stock items are boring.
yeah, he says, who cares
Warranties are
about
for
that
losers.
warranty?
Warranties are for losers. That dealership's just going to fight you on the warranty on everything anyway. Like unless you got to really like Joe goes to bat for some stuff, but I'm not going to fight him over a 20 cent screw.
Yeah.
That
Let
came
me
out.
ask you this: is there a difference in the treatment of how a customer treats you when you're doing a tree quote versus a lawn maintenance quote? And
Yeah,
what would you say is the main difference between the two?
they're gonna ask questions. If you're charging, if there are 3 zeros behind that bill or 4 zeros behind that bill, they're gonna have legitimate questions. You
Mm,
know, I did my first really, really big job uh, 2 years ago, and it was for $36,000, one job,
wow.
and we it was a municipal job. It was huge. It was in the public. We had like they want to see proof of your insurance. They want to see like everything. Vehicles that are going to be on the property are registered, inspected, and insured. Like the questions and the dialing and the detail, because most likely if someone's dumping this much money in, you're not the only contractor they're having on site.
Mm,
So you might be working around all these other guys. You have to be an excellent communicator, and that's something that I'm getting a little bit better at. But yeah, someone when you start talking, especially too, because it's become kind of casual now for me to just spit out like, yeah, we're gonna be here for like 6 hours. It's probably gonna cost you like $7,000. You know, you're paying $1,000 an hour because we're bringing a crane in. You know, and
right.
the crane guy's charging some serious money, and
Mm.
he's limited how many hours he can operate that crane. You know,
See, these are the things people don't think about.
and that crane costs $1 million. A million. You at your house. I did a job during that last storm cleanup. I totaled up just for shibs and gibs. I totaled up the total amount of money that was sitting in this guy's driveway. There was $3 million in vehicles, not even personal gear, in the driveway
Mm,
to do it. And they're like, yeah, this is like to do a $12,000 tree removal. You know, $12,000 tree removal. It took 3 million to make 12.
yeah, takes money to make money.
Right.
That's what they
And
say.
and everything needs maintenance. Everything. And you've seen what happens when you're like, oh, I'll get to that later, and it comes to bite you so hard,
Don't it?
so hard.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
And then you have a day where you made no money, and now instead of $12,000 tomorrow, you need to make 24 to make up for your day off for your laziness and incompetence.
Yeah. It, and how many times are we gonna go through that? When you got friends in the industry, and a good thing that in the relationship that Piper and I have
Mm-hmm.
is we can crack down on each other. If you make a mistake, if I make a mistake, Piper is definitely gonna let me know about it. And there's
Likewise.
a certain pressure to do good whenever your friend is doing good and they encourage and want you to do good.
Right.
So whenever you do bad, they can hassle you some because we all
Right.
know we can do better. And if you have friends out here who are number one, teaching you what they know, you teach them what you know, but then they can hold you accountable. Like I can't tell you I'm late every day for the most part, right? But at the beginning of the season, Pipes, we were all rushing to get to the place.
Yeah.
You don't want to be last, and if you are last, Piper's gonna have some wisecrack for me,
Yeah.
right? Or whatever the case may be. But it's amazing to have friends and other people who are doing what you do, man. And I think that I want that to be one of the main points that we take home is yeah, you could do a tree service, you could do a lawn service, but make sure that you have friends in whatever it is that you're doing, whatever your interests are, because it'll help you go a lot further. But Pipes, what is something that people misunderstand about what it is that you do that we do?
Uh, I to be honest, I think people think that we're because we're in this line of work. You people think that you're just your intelligence level isn't there,
Yeah.
and people try to like every once in a while someone talks down to me, and then I get right in their face because I'm way taller than they are, and I talk down to them. and then I use really big words that I know they're going to look up later because they have a PhD in something, and I just stupid shame them, and I just it's okay to do that. It's okay to show everyone that you're very smart, you're very informed in your industry, and you take a lot of pride in what you do, and that starts by showing up professionally, looking good, and being confident. And confidence goes a long way in selling a job because if you're like, yeah, I'm gonna climb up the tree and cut it down, and you're like shaking, and you're not even in the damn tree yet.
Yeah.
When the pee's running down your leg at 100 feet, ain't no one coming up there to help you.
You are so right. When you talk with confidence, and confidence comes with doing. The more you do
Oh
things, the
yeah,
more experience you get with doing whatever said thing is, the more confident you're going to be when talking to it. Here's a great example of that. I've told this story before on all types of different places. But when I quit my job in 2021, March 15th, by April 15th, 2021, I had made my entire salary. But we brought that home that month to close out the month with doing a $9,000 job, 9,200. That my uncle was there during the bidding process, who's been in the game 42 years. At the time of this story that I'm telling you about, he had 42 years of experience. He had just closed down his business to retire. He's 70 years old. I was in year 5. Okay. So we go to this place, we walk around. He's saying everything. I'm walking around with a notepad, trying to write things down as fast as I possibly can. Now, we're gonna do this here today. I never been able to do this on the live stream or on a podcast when I was talking about it. But we're walking around, Pipes, and this is all about having confidence. I even did a YouTube video about this, but we're walking around the property, and he's saying we're going to put this here and we're going to put that there, we're going to bring in this amount of yards of mulch for this area, this amount of yards of mulch for this area. He's walking around this whole area. Now we finally get to the end. She's like, I also, well, he sees this barn that this lady has in her backyard that used to have something there, but it wasn't really anything. It was like some annual grass, ornamental like grasses, the pampas grasses or whatever. She had those pipes. He's like, we're gonna dig those out, get rid of them. We'll put some of that at this place because you can transfer them. We'll put this here. We're gonna put a tree here. Blah, blah, blah. He just was like going through all this whole big list of things that his 42 years of experience let him say with confidence. Right? He said all of this stuff with so much confidence that she finally says, "Well, okay, how much is it gonna cost?" He snatches the notepad out of my hand, and he's doing this. Now, if you're a podcast listener and you're not watching live, this is why you gotta come watch live because you never know what your boy's gonna do. But he grabs the notepad out of my hand and he's doing this as you know, he's standing there like this and he's writing something down, and it looks like he's writing all these things down, and then he hands it back to me, Pipes. He hands me the notepad back. I forgot about this part. He handed me the notebook back, and this is what it had on it, Pipes. He hands me this notebook. I look at the notebook, and then I look at him, and then I look at the notebook again, and then I look at her, and I said 9,200. He handed me the notebook. This is what it said on it. I don't know if you can see that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it says 9,200. Say this. So I just said it confidently, right? Because he looked so confident that we could get this done. I didn't know how we was gonna do any of this stuff. It was me, him, and Captain Jack, and that was it. And he's 70 years old. He ain't moving anything. Luckily, I had a multi-force. But he's like, say this. So I said 9,200. She said, okay. Do you need like a deposit? And before I could even say anything, he was like, we do a 50% deposit, just good faith deposit, so we can buy materials and things like that. He said it so confidently that she didn't question it at all. It was basically a 20-minute masterclass on just being confident. Because if you say things and you got apprehension in your attitude and in your voice and on your face,
They can sense it.
the customers can smell. They're like sharks in the water. Then it's coming to talk you down. When Piper comes, and I've witnessed Pipes do this in action. He says the price, and it's the price. We were on this thing. They cut down all these trees. These people own land, and all of their family had different houses up and down this one street. Right, Pipes. They owned all the land. They were just, but this guy, he's like, we're gonna build another house for my sister or something like that. I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe to the grandmother, something like
they
that.
just
I
broke
don't know.
ground on that.
Right. So I'm with Piper that day. I can't remember what all we were doing. I do know we went to Charlie's and had
Yeah, we did
a
go to
sub and
Charlie's.
some wings. And, me and Pipes always getting our eat on.
Yeah. Ben was
So
there.
yeah, so Ben, this dude Ben comes. Now I know Ben. He's been in the video. Me and Pipes did a video cutting up a tree. Ben was there with his giant F650 or whatever the hell he got, big beastie truck. And Ben comes to the house. And now it's me, him, and Piper. I don't have anything to do with this job. I'm literally just here as a bystander, as a witness of what is going on. This Ben dude, I never heard. Besides my uncle John, I never heard anyone talk like him. He
Dude,
was giving
wild.
all these instructions to this dude, like, yeah, we're gonna take down this tree, these trees over here. We're gonna backfill with gravel on this side and cut this down. We'll level this out, give you a walkway here, and blah blah blah. He's just saying all of this stuff. And if that sounds good to you, then we can make this happen. And dude's like, it's already pre-approved and everything, man. Ben's like, it's gonna be $65,000. Dude's like, done, done, just from how he talked.
he he looked at me and he was like, "All right, I'll see you later." I was like,
And was out.
"It was out. Was out." Took his tape measure and left.
But that's Piper's friend, see? We talking about having friends so you can witness, be a part of, take part in these different things that happen, learn from other people's experiences.
Mhm.
Why? So you can up your confidence, which is going to up your value, which is going to up the money in
Yep.
your bank.
And
9200, say this.
right. And he closed that job and he just finished it.
It's unreal, man.
And he
It's unreal.
already another one going. Another he bought a triaxle. He's got a 10-ton Kenworth now. Like he just hired a driver to drive the triaxle because he can't drive everything, which we're learning.
Man, I'm
Um,
telling you, I'm-
but you surround yourself with someone like that, and why? If they don't motivate you, then you're not ever going to get motivated.
no doubt. No doubt, bro. When you're around, look, man, you go ahead.
In the morning, you've got you, me, Talon, and Tommy, and it's like I'm doing this today. I'm doing this. You don't want to be the guy who's like, I'm just picking boogers,
Bruh,
you know, like
no doubt.
that's because then they're gonna be like, oh man, we gotta. Do we need to help him? Does he need like work? You know, like
It's like when you go to the gym.
yep.
If you got a group of friends, whether you're male or female, and it could be intermixed, I don't give a damn. All right, but if you got two, at least two friends, four friends is better. Six is amazing. Eight, if you can get that, dope. But if we're all supposed to go to the gym and we're all gonna meet at 6 a.m. in the morning, we're all gonna meet at 8 a.m. in the morning, we're all gonna meet at 11 p.m. at night. When it's time to go to the gym, you're going to go
Hmm.
because your friends are gonna hold you accountable to do this. And when you get there, even if you're the person that doesn't know anything about lifting weights, and Piper is the person that knows everything about lifting weights, they're gonna be there to help you and guide you so that you can lift a little bit more. They're going to be there to spot you whenever you need a little bit of help because you're just starting out and you're at the beginning and you don't know the proper form yet. You don't know what's the best pre-workout or what's the best protein supplement to take or the best fat burner, whatever the case may be. The proper way to do things, you don't know it yet, but you got to get around people that do know. And here's one of the things you might come to understand is we're practicing business owners, just like a
Hmm.
doctor is a practicing
Yep.
physician, just like a lawyer is a practicing person in the law. We are practicing business owner. We're practicing lawn care owners or tree service owners or power washing owners or window washing owners. We're practicing. And the more people you can get around, you get to learn from them. That's why I always say, Pipes, that I've taken so much from different players when it comes to being a basketball player. But this, what we do, is so much like sports. It's like you
Hmm.
get to be, if you're a shooter, you're a shooter. But there's shooters that can also dribble and dunk and post up and play defense and pass, right? You can be more versatile because you get to see how other people are doing different things. But I went off on a little bit of a tangent
No,
right
you're
there.
good. You're good. And you also, when you get these opportunities to grow, like you get to go to these conferences and take some of these class. I know you're super busy, you don't have a lot of time, but every time I go to Equip, I take classes. I went to that tree expo, did classes down in Baltimore. The work doesn't stop when you punch out. When you own a business,
Right.
you kind of have to like integrate it into your life, and maybe a vacation when you're starting out and you're learning is a vacation to like a destination to go further your education into what you're getting into.
Right.
You could take that $5,000 and have a killer time in Cabo or whatever, Ibiza, and or you can double down at like a master class, still go somewhere fun, but you can take it, and if you don't, you're just going to get left behind. I mean, there are people that we're literally watching who are stagnant in business, who we know personally, and they're doing the same thing we are, and they're running in place,
Right.
and they're watching us sprint. Eh,
Yeah.
Like I'm passing that water stand. I didn't even stop. I'm just dousing it. Half of it ain't even going in my mouth on that marathon. I'm just wearing it, and I'm just going. Like I didn't even stop to the bathroom. I'll get a new pair of shorts.
Well, we got to get ready to land the plane here soon. But if you could go back in time
Hmm.
and help yourself to do something faster, or maybe there's a few different things you would change. What is something that you would do sooner or change now that you know would help you immensely in your beginning stages?
Top three. Number one, don't turn into a fat ass over winter. I turned into a house hippo. It happened to me 2 years in a row. And then when I start the season, climbing trees ain't easy. And if you pack on like I did a couple times, 50 pounds over winter, 40 pounds, because you had too good of a summer and you're living the good life. Because I don't work in the winter. That snow stuff is for you guys who want to go out and rip Monster Energy drinks till 4 o'clock in the morning. Have fun with that. I but like you gotta stay in shape for what you're gonna do year round. So you gotta take care of your body first. I wish I've gotten better at that. I'm lining things in and getting back in track. Number two would be before you make a purchase, you gotta go and look at every corner, and you gotta make sure that this is actually it's not keeping up with the Joneses. It's actually something that is for your business. Because I made a
Mm.
few keeping up with the Joneses purchases when I started out,
What were they?
and I bought that steel combi system, like in every
Okay.
single attachment, and I dropped like $2,000 basically on a weed whacker because that's the number one attachment that I was using at the time. But I was like, I gotta have all these. Yeah, what I should have done is just bought it and not bought all of them at once.
Right. Buy them as you need them.
And because then I had like because when I bought that I had like $5,000 in my bank account, and then I had like $3,000, and I was like, having five was a lot more fun.
Yes,
I
it
thought I
is.
was I thought I was balling with five, and so I would say that, and then number three would be just to go back on the first one a little bit, invest in yourself, and I kind of invested in others a little bit, and like helped move some people along and before I kind of did things for myself. and that kind of like set me back a little bit
Mm.
because I would be like, oh yeah, I'll and I was doing like just because I had the skills, and I would be like, oh yeah, I'll like do that for you at no cost and stuff like that, which is fine, is fine. But if you're not getting anything out of if you're not getting anything at all, just blood, sweat, and tears are being poured into it, you're emptying your gas tank. You only got so much gas. You only got so
Yeah,
much gas. You gotta fill the tank every once in a while. You gotta invest back in the truck. You gotta fill that tank up. And I
that's
didn't.
that is great advice, man. The investing in yourself part, because that changes everything. I have a little in the last shot. I'll tell you
Yeah.
a quote about that after Piper exits the premises. But yeah, no, that is great. The invested in yourself and buying things when you need them, not just because you want them. Because when we think about the keeping up with the Joneses thing, that's really what it is.
Mhm.
You're buying things that you want based off of things you've seen that other people have, and I am 1,000,000% guilty with this. I bought a $70,000 Ram 2500 Power Wagon because I seen
Dope
other
truck.
people on the internet. It was the dope truck, but I seen other people on the internet with these amazing trucks that are paying 80,000, 90,000, sometimes $100,000 for a vehicle to pull around lawnmowers.
Yeah.
And I'm just being real. I was pulling around lawnmowers.
Me
So
too. Remember
I
that
saved
Ram I had?
myself. Yeah. Yep.
$104,000 for that truck. Thank God it
Yeah.
got killed.
And to drive around and get rocks hit into it and
Yep.
scratches all over it. And it's all possibly jackknife, depending on who's driving it, all these different things. So keeping up with the Joneses again is buying things that you want based off things you see other people have that you actually want. Whereas we need to be buying off of necessity, especially at the
Mhm.
beginning. It's kind of cool to have all of the different attachments hanging up on your wall.
Oh,
But
sick.
really, we're using three attachments. The most attachments for my combi systems that I'm using is the flower bed redefiner whenever we're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
mulch, the hedge trimmer attachments, and I have the articulate and the straight edge one, and the weed whacker attachment.
Yeah.
Now I have the power brush, the power broom, or the power broom, the power
Pole saw.
paddle, pro paddle, the pole saw. I actually have three different the hedge trimmer attachments, the straight ones, because I like those better. But I got that. I got the garden tiller. I ain't putting no gardens in. Not a
You bought
garden
it,
is
though.
not a
You
garden is
bought
going in, but I got it. It was $89 or something just because I wanted to be able to say I have all the attachments.
Yeah.
Now, those again, I just named, I don't know, 7 or 8 attachments, and we use 3 of them actually make
Yeah.
us money. Now, I
Yep.
don't really care too much about that, but all I'm saying is buy things when they're a necessity. So, for instance, we're doing shrubs right now. I might buy a new shrub trimmer, right? But we're gonna make all that money back on the first day of doing this first shrub job out of the 67 that we have to do on our schedule. So again, buy things that you need, be invested in yourself. Pipes, let's talk a little bit about live events. You mentioned Equip Expo.
Mhm.
Mac 50 will save you 50% on your Equip registration. I'll be doing a lot of stuff down there. MC the LCR Summit, which Piper may or may not go to. We'll see.
We'll
But
see,
I'll be
baby.
doing that. I'll be on the morning show on Thursday morning. We have the Winning Life meetup at Equip Expo on Wednesday night, which you can sign up with the Eventbrite link in the description of this video or show notes if you're watching or listening on podcast. But Pipes, what are you looking forward to when we get down to Equip Expo, and why is it important for you to go to that when so many people say that we're not going because we have leaf cleanups or fall cleanups or things like that to do? Why is it important for you to go down there?
I need to, for me personally, I want to see what's out there to make my life easier and how to streamline a couple things. And I take classes every year. If they got a tree class or something like that, I might already taken it. But a free refresher or a class that's 15, $20 to go sit at one of these talks, it pays for itself. It's so good. And you're going to run into someone in there who's in the same position probably as you. and needs that kind of that bump. But I'm stoked for that. I also got touch base. I'm doing some product testing for a couple of brands right now, and that came. I don't have guys. I got 400 followers. I got like 1,200 on Instagram. Anyone can become a product tester. You just have to go into these booths, preferably a booth that's selling something or looking to push something out there that you're actually going to use because they want to see it in the field. This one company I have broken. I broke that one thing that we weren't allowed to show on video that you've seen. I just broke that today,
Mm.
and I already emailed them, and I bet tomorrow by like lunch I'll have an email and they'll be like, "Okay, oh, all right, so we need to like improve on X, Y, and Z on this product before it goes to launch." And they love that feedback. You get to use a free tool for maybe they let you keep it, or maybe they want it back. Like I think that one they're gonna want back to see what happened.
Hmm.
But like, and now you're on the cutting edge. Who doesn't want to be on the cutting edge?
Yeah, it was a eye-opening experience for me. I think anyone, maybe you don't need to go each and every year. I go every year now.
I'm going.
I've been going every year since I started going, just because it's such an amazing time. But friends been the
The
pretty
vibe,
much.
the vibe at the house that we rent,
Hmm.
it is at. I mean, we got dudes coming home at like 5 o'clock in the morning. They're having too much
Yeah,
fun. They're having too much fun.
it is the Super Bowl of the industry, and again, I've been talking about friends this whole show, Pipes, and I got one of
Yeah,
my very best friends in the industry on the show tonight. And down there at
yeah,
Equip Expo, is you get to
oh yeah.
make these friends that we've made through social media, through Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube
Mm-hmm.
Shorts, YouTube long form, Facebook Reels, Facebook long form. However, you've met these people or you've been talking to these people who are basically strangers from other states,
Mm-hmm.
other parts of your state, all over the world. I met a guy from Australia. I said,
I
skew it on the Bobby. All right. All right. But you get to see these friends again. So at the beginning, I was going because I wanted to meet people that I had been seeing on the internet. But it really opened my eyes to how big this thing actually
yeah.
is. Because my first year at Equip Expo, literally got me to stop saying, people would say, "What do you do?" Like, I cut grass. I'm a grass cutter. When I got down there, I went from a grass cutter to feeling like I'm a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
And I want everyone to feel like that because you are
Yeah,
not just a grass cutter or a tree cutter or a power washer. Uh, you're at minimum an entrepreneur and you should
for
be a
sure,
business owner,
for
right?
sure.
So,
My first year there, real quick. My first year there was when you did your meetup at Guy Fieri's.
mhm.
I met a guy named Alex from Josimar Landscaping
Yep.
who lives in Maryland, and I went down and we did trees together this winter. And I took Lake from Otts Outdoor Services in Pennsylvania, and we did jobs down in Maryland just from that meetup. It took a couple years for things to come in, but he made money, I made money, his guys made money. Like it, don't this networking doesn't have to be local. Like, oh, if someone has a project and because it once the snow flies here, I don't need to be here. We're out.
No doubt.
Write
No,
the check. Let's go.
and you'll be
Send the plane.
it's crazy because like some of your you can have distance between you, but some of your closest friends can be people who ain't anywhere close. They could be on the other side of the world,
1,000 miles.
but they get you and you
Yeah,
get them.
yeah,
And we get this. And
yeah.
all that comes with this. It's just amazing thing to have friends like that. And that's why I enjoy social media so much. I can't even, there's been, I mean, I don't even know how many friends that I have that I talk to. I say this to my kids, bro. I'm 42 years old. I've been in the high school for I don't even know how long now.
70 years.
It's been a while. I talked to literally one friend from high school.
Yeah,
One. When
zero.
I mean when I say that, it's not that I don't talk to other people who I went to high school with, but I'm talking about on a regular basis. I talk to one person. It's my best friend Brian. He's been supposed to be on the show a few times, but one. I've been telling my daughter, you're not gonna know any of these people, but you know who I talk to on a very regular basis? I'm just gonna name a few: Piper, Talon, Cedric, Tommy, Lone Wolf Landscaping, Marcus Tate, S- Penn Brothers Landscaping, Spence Crisco, my man Drew, Lamont Harrison, Paul Jameson, Naylor Taliaferro, Brian Fullerton, Keith Kalfas.
We got
The
you
list
got
goes
dudes
on and
coming.
on and on
Yeah,
and on, man. Right?
people drive all the way over here just to have a conversation and eat lunch.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
So
awesome.
you
So
you
much fun.
you you need friends, man. You should experience Equip Expo if you haven't. You should experience some of these other live events. You should come to the Winning Life meetup. Hell, you should get into the groups that I'm doing, the Lightbringer University that's coming soon. Because with friends in the industry, it is a lot harder for you to quit on yourself. Because I promise you, with the right friends, they're going to encourage you. They're going to be there to pick you up and help you, to give you that kick in the ass if you need it. You know, if you out here moping around, pick your damn head up. This is what we're out here for. It's to live our best life, to win in life. And friends will help you do that. So get to live events like Equip Expo. Um, Pipes,
Yeah.
where do you see things going for yourself here in the next 5 to 10 years? Just it doesn't have to
So
necessarily be business, but maybe business, life,
yeah.
family.
So this is my best year ever, and it's opening a lot of doors for me. One of the goals that I have a couple crazy goals. I think you've probably heard a couple of them. So I take winter off. That's my number one goal.
Tell people what you do whenever you take the winter off, Pipes. He's
Dude, I
7 feet
ski.
tall, by the way.
I ski so much. I ski so much, and I maintenance all the equipment over winter. But I love to ski. I want to go travel the East Coast, sometimes go out west, and I just want to ski. That's all I want to do because I only got so many years in these knees, and I got to use them up. Because maybe I'll get bionic knees and I'll be a better skier. Go win a gold medal. Um,
seven
I'll
feet
take it.
tall.
Dude, that'd be wild. Doing backflips. Um, but if things kind of trend the way they are, this is the first year I'm collecting a paycheck from the business. I just did my tax documents to move over to file as an S corp,
Mm.
and kind of like in progressing into this being more serious and like bringing on a full time employee in the next probably like 6 to 8 months, and going away from solo because I'm kind of capped out at solo with a summer helper, here and there. I'm finding my ceiling is like 250, 300 because my body can only do so much, and I can't be in three places at once.
Right.
But once that's kind of achieved, I want to take flying lessons. And my buddy who's a pilot, and he just got hired with American Airlines, so he's going to teach me how to fly, and we're going to buy a plane together. And yeah, so and like I'm doing it. Like so, in a couple of years, me going to Equip, I'll see you in the PJ. I'll be flying over top. Just look for all these jets, and then look for my little single engine, like holding up a 747 coming into Louisville. my little single engine plane with just 6 seats in it, but we're having a blast up in that thing.
I love it, man. I feel blessed
Yeah.
that I have you in my life, Pipes. I'll never forget. I was supposed to do an episode with Cedric and my homie Brian Fullerton. He was gonna come on Lawn Care Power Moves, and my battery gave me issues, and that was the first time Pipes really came to my rescue. Is we were stuck out there. I didn't get home till like
Hmm.
11:30 at night or something. He
Yeah.
drove
But
all the way out an hour away to come get me with my trailer after we got the thing towed. The truck actually towed. And again, to hammer this point home, friends, man. Friends are the
yep.
people who, when you really need something, this is how you know who a friend is. When you really need something and you call, and they actually answer the phone. And then they don't give you some excuse for why they can't come to help you or something like that. That's real friendships, man. Real when you need someone, you really need someone to hold you down. They come through in the clutch and hit that game winning shot. That's what Piper has
Yeah.
been for me, and I would encourage you to go out there and make as many of friends like that as you can, and don't just be a taker. Also be a giver, man. Help them out as they help you out. Go ahead.
Don't pick up if the ACJ is calling. You can let that one ring.
The ACJ is the Allegheny County Jail. You won't have to worry about that
You got
with
to
me.
collect calls to Cornell Mac. I'll be like, no, I don't.
But Pipes, before we let you go and we get to this last shot, what is some good advice you would give to someone who's in our industry?
If they're if you're in the lawn care industry, be consistent. You got to show up. You got to work hard, and you got to do it for about 36 weeks a year. That's the hardest part. Is just doing the exact same performance every single time. Because once you set the bar on week one, it's there.
Yep.
There's no going back. If you're in the tree industry, you can't put it back. Once you cut it, there's no gluing it back in place. So I've made that mistake a couple times. People are like, "I want that branch cut." Sometimes you cut the wrong branch, and things look a little funny for a few years. But yeah, you can't put things back. So make sure all your T's are crossed and all your I's are dotted. You gotta tree work is a little bit different. Tree work, you got to be very dialed in, very focused. Where landscaping, if you have a bad week, 1 week, and maybe things don't go well, guess what? You're coming back next week, and you got to redeem yourself all over again. There are no second chances in the tree game. There's no room for mistakes.
I love it, man. Where can everyone
Yeah.
find you if they want to get in contact with you, Pipes? And tell them about your YouTube channel.
Yeah, DM me on Instagram. We can have a chat. I'll be your little tree plug. Um, and if you want to check out my YouTube channel, it's the Landscape Giant on YouTube. I just posted a review I did of my new to me Ferris Z2. And I'm going to be doing some stuff in there. It's tree work, lawn care. It's just what's going on in my business right now. And every once in a while, maybe they'll see you or some one of the other guys up there.
Yep, no doubt. Well, make sure you
Yep.
go follow my homie Pipes at the Landscape Giant on YouTube and at Seven Ways Lawn and Tree on Instagram if you have any questions. You already know how I feel about your Pipes, so we'll
Yep.
get you out of here on
Yeah.
that.
I'll see you tomorrow. You'll be late. I'll be leaving.
No doubt. Parting
Peace.
shots. Peace. That was my homeboy Pipes. Now we have to move the show on over to the last shot. We talked a lot today about having good friends in the business, in your life, in your relationships. It is always amazing to have good friends. So seek them out. Do right by those friends as they will do right by you. And if you have people who you think are friends, but they ain't doing right by you, get them out of your life because the same way friends can build you up, friends can also tear you down. So where you're going, you need the right people around you. So make sure that you're seeking out those good friendships and creating those lasting bonds so that you can help yourself out and your friends can help themselves out as we all go to these wins in our life. But if I could help you out with one thing, I will give you this. And it's some advice that I heard from, I will call him a mentor of mine, Jim Rohn, who passed away in 2009. But I've got some amazing ideas about philosophies for life that I have adopted after hearing them from Jim Rohn. And one of the biggest ones that has helped me out the most is something I want to give to you today. And I may have said it on here before, I don't know, but there's faith comes by hearing. So when you hear things over and over and over again, eventually you begin to believe them. So I enjoy listening to good things rather than negative things because I don't want to believe negativity. I just want to get all the way in to positivity. So one of the things that will help you be more positive is when you know this, and something that when I heard it, it just struck me. But it was a quote that Jim Rohn had got from his mentor, Dr. Earl Shoaff, and it is, if you work hard on your job, you can make a living. And I know I was making a living. I was working hard at both of my full-time jobs just to get the current things that I had, which was a house in a nice neighborhood. I got a house in a nice neighborhood, and I was going to keep working those two full-time jobs till I died to make sure that I could keep this house on a cul-de-sac in a nice school district for my kids, right? And I was making a living working hard on my job. But he also says this: if you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. And my entire life changed when I started to work hard on myself, when I started to invest in my own education, whether it was with money through going to a class like at Equip Expo, or if it was with my time by watching YouTube videos or reading or listening to audiobooks. When I first started to invest into myself, it made me see the world in a much different way. I had colors that were so much more bright than the grays and the dark colors that we were having when I was thinking about negative things that was putting big shadows over my life. And then I started to work hard on myself, and my mind started to change, and yours will too. So work hard on your job and you will make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you will make a fortune. And a fortune is way better than a living. As always, I love you. I appreciate you. I wish you nothing but success. And remember, the Creator created you to be creative. So get out there and create whatever you want in your life. Because I'm out. Peace.